Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the 8.14 update, and although you guys may have seen by the title of the update video, which is more news coming on the 16th, there was still some, I guess, balance, or rather I shouldn't say balance, but some patch updates added to epicseven, which is pretty cool, including honestly some interesting, I guess, pre-release information about things that are coming up. But in any case, that's fine. Without further ado though, let's get into it. So the first thing we should talk about is this ongoing trend of, again, Smilegate releasing replacements essentially for old collab artifacts and then re-releasing them as their own limited variations. In this case, we're actually replacing the Guardian Ice Crystal from the ReZero collab with now a Soul Weaver exclusive called Cure All Magic Wand. Again, the effect of this is exactly the same as Guardian Ice Crystal. It increases the effect resistance by 15% of whoever has it, obviously being one of the Soul Weavers. And in addition to this, when an ally's health is 50% or less after being attacked, you recover and regenerate, or I guess heal a bit of your health back, which is pretty significant, although it is only activatable once per turn. Now, notably, and one of the more, I guess, powerful variations or use cases for something like this is the fact that you can actually have multiple of these artifacts together. As you can see here on the bottom, there isn't actually any text that specifically says limited to one per team or unique or one effect, something along those lines, which means that you can actually have multiple of these artifacts together. Now, I do want to point out that part of the reason why Cure All Magic Wand, or rather Guardian Ice Crystal, coming back to the Soul Weavers is actually kind of significant, and that's actually because, I guess, specifically because of what I've mentioned earlier about the fact that you could stack them together. Now, although epicseven as of late has definitely been a bit more night focused, or more, well, to be honest, Tenebria focused. Although this is the case, Guardian Ice Crystal has always cemented itself as somewhat of a very difficult, slow kind of game style to kind of play around. And although double Soul Weavers right now aren't as common, it is still worth noting that if you are someone that has access to two Soul Weavers, or if you ever end up on a team with two Soul Weavers and you don't have some sort of gimmick artifact, like you aren't trying to cheese souls or you aren't trying to push someone up with Idol's Cheer, Guardian Ice Crystal is honestly a pretty solid artifact, not only just because of the fact that you get the effect resistance, but of course for the heal, especially if you're trying to keep one specific character alive. Now, beyond this, we also have a new special side story. This is, if I'm not mistaken, the Rhythm Surfer side story activity. Honestly, as far as I can tell, there isn't any difference in terms of what we have access to. You get the Sky Stones, you get the backgrounds, or some unique rewards specific to it. And with this, we've also been given the date for the Soul Weaver class summon. In this case, it's going to be on the 14th, and it lasts 2 weeks until the 28th. However, obviously, although the class summon here is cool or interesting, at most you can maybe predict that what they announce on the 16th may have something to do with, or maybe there's a chance that some reveal on the 16th indicates that you'll be able to use one of the artifacts or one of the Soul Weaver artifacts a bit better with whoever or whomever they decide to announce on that date. But coping in tinfoil hat theory aside, it is also worth mentioning here that there's other improvements and adjustments. And if you took a look at the video, actually, one of the things that you probably saw was the fact that they not only changed some of the World Arena stuff, but they also changed the opening entrance animation for PvP content battles. Now, despite this specific line here and the extra line here that says character-specific backgrounds will no longer appear in certain UI screens when displaying characters, initially, my thoughts were that this would mean that profile cards would not be shown before battle. And if I can just speak to the annoyance actually of that for a moment, and especially if you're someone that's played RTA at the higher levels, you are probably familiar with the fact that people are not dumb or oblivious to the fact that if you just fought against someone with the Pikachu card that was hand-drawn and it looks very specific, well, there's a good chance that if I encounter a very similar looking Pikachu card again in the future, I know what your playstyle is, or I'll have a better idea as to what sets, what gear, what... I'm metagaming, long story short. And now again, although the entrance animation for this has been adjusted, from what I could tell, this profile card concern or issue for RTA specific players has not been introduced, or rather has not been addressed. Now I have to admit, if Smilegate had not affected anything relating to the entrance doors or rather, excuse me, if they had never affected anything relating to the pre or post of a battle, this is probably not something that I would have cared much for, specifically because, well, it's just the entrance doors, and honestly, maybe the profile cards thing affects such a small margin of players that it is what it is. However, because they've added or they've done things over the years like hide name card, or not hide name cards, but hide names of specific or enemies or opponents that you're queuing into, and because now that they're adjusting this entrance animation, it does kind of feel like a why would you even change this to begin with? And again, just for clarity's sake, if you're curious what this looks like, this is what the change animation looks like. And for clarity's sake, or for transparency's sake, this is not like, you know, it's a cool looking animation, don't get me wrong, but like, was this necessary? You know what I mean? And like, again, to this credit, like, or to their point, like, if you're going to make a quality of life change, or if you're going to make a change for the better, well, then why not also tie something into this, like the profile card change? Or is this going to reduce the amount of lag that it takes for people to get into the game? If these are the cases, then maybe that's fine, but it seems to have roughly similar timing as to how long it used to take in order to open up the old like spiraling spinning gates, which to me just doesn't really make any sense. Now with this, guys, again, this is a very filler type patch. Obviously you have all these adjustments here. They've also mentioned things like I should clarify. So originally this entrance animation alongside this line here is what I had originally believed to indicate like maybe we were getting something fixed or adjusted or touched in terms of the profile cards, but actually the character specific backgrounds that they're referring to in this case is likely referring to when you have that specific screen or menu where you see like several pieces of gear attached to a specific character that you can sort of do in the gear menu. Again, for whatever it's worth, or for whatever they're intending from this, I'm not even sure what the point of this is for. Maybe to reduce lag, or maybe to reduce too many different looking, like, I don't know, like, honestly, these two changes, if I'm being honest, I'm just coping a bit because I have no real reason to give or to understand as to why they were being changed. I guess at most they could be more thematic for the E7 World Championship coming up, which is okay, I guess. Like, it is what it is, but they didn't even describe it like, you know, they did it to the E7 World Championship theme up here. So this change, as far as I can tell, is just change this to change type, you know, I guess, adjustment. And for this one, I really don't even understand what the point of this is. Maybe there's a bug that's been going on where people are laggier or suffer when having this, but overall, guys, in any case, I will say you maybe can justify the patch being okay if they had made this change, and obviously it's a filler patch, but more than anything else, the main change, or I guess the main addition to this patch, is the class summon, which is cool, again, because people that are more slower players or people that enjoy playing Soul Weavers, you could definitely gain something from having Cure All Magic Wand. That said, I do want to include a disclaimer that if you're considering pulling for this, since we have until the 28th, I definitely wait and see at least until the 16th to see what is announced. There's a very good chance that we're getting Genesis Roz. It would be absolutely ridiculous if they had all the teasing and marketing around him and the 16th and all this stuff, and they didn't announce him or reveal what his kit is at the very minimum. But with this, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy. Good night.